August 8, 2013. San Angelo, Texas. 26-year-old Brandon Lawson was a man with a lot on his plate. He was a father of 4, an oil field worker, and a man trying to stay on the right path after a history of substance abuse. But that night, things fractured. A heated argument with his long-term girlfriend, Ladessa Lofton, ended with Brandon walking out the door just before midnight. He hopped into his 2001 silver Ford F-150 with a plan to drive to his father's house in Crowley, about 3 hours away. But he wouldn't make it past the 45-minute mark. Somewhere near Bronte, Texas, on a desolate stretch of U.S. Route 277, Brandon's truck ran out of gas. At 12:30 a.m., Brandon called his brother Kyle. His voice was tight, layered with a panic that didn't quite match a simple empty gas tank. He told Kyle he'd run out of fuel and that he was being chased by guys from the neighborhood into a field. Kyle, thinking Brandon might be hallucinating or caught in something shady, agreed to bring a gas can. But while Kyle was getting ready, Brandon made another call, the one that would cement this case in true crime history. At 12:50 a.m., Brandon dialed 911. What follows is one of the most analyzed pieces of audio in the world. It's grainy, distorted by the Texas wind, and terrifyingly vague. Brandon tells the dispatcher, "I'm in the middle of a field. We just pushed some guys over." He mentions being out here going towards Abilene on both sides. When the dispatcher asks if he needs an ambulance, Brandon's response is immediate. "No, I need the cops." For years, people have run this audio through every filter imaginable. Some hear a gunshot, others hear a car door. The most chilling part is the location. Brandon says he's in the woods, but the area around Bronte is flat, dusty, and filled with nothing but waist-high mesquite brush and cacti. There are no woods. The call ends with Brandon saying, "No, I need the cops," followed by silence. This wasn't a man who ran out of gas. This was a man who believed he was in a fight for his life. While Brandon was off the phone with 911, a truck driver spotted his F-150 abandoned on the shoulder and called it in as a traffic hazard. Coke County Deputy Neal arrived on the scene at 1:10 a.m. At almost the exact same time, Brandon's brother Kyle pulled up with a gas can. The truck was empty. The keys, wallet, and phone were gone. While Kyle was talking to the deputy, his phone buzzed. It was Brandon. Kyle picked up and told him, "The cops are here, come out." Brandon's reply was haunting. He said, "I can see you. I'm right here." But the deputy was sweeping the area with a high-powered spotlight. There was nowhere to hide in that flat landscape. Kyle looked where Brandon said he was and saw nothing. Brandon told Kyle he was bleeding. And then the call dropped. That was the last time anyone ever heard Brandon Lawson's voice. Kyle, knowing Brandon had an outstanding warrant, assumed his brother was just hiding from the deputy to avoid jail. He left the gas can in the truck bed and drove away, expecting Brandon to come out once the coast was clear. By morning, the truck was still there, but the gas can was untouched. The search that followed was massive. We're talking helicopters with thermal imaging, K-9 units, and hundreds of volunteers. They found nothing. No blood, no clothes, no signs of a struggle. The theories started flying immediately. First, foul play. People thought Brandon stumbled onto a drug deal in the middle of the night, explaining his "ran into them" comment. Second, the breakdown. Given his history, many believed Brandon had suffered a drug-induced paranoid episode. In this theory, the men chasing him were ghosts of his own mind, and he ran into the brush until he simply couldn't go any further. Third, the voluntary disappearance. Some suggested he used the warrant as an excuse to start a new life, but those who knew him said he would never leave his 4 children. For nearly a decade, the case was a black hole. US 277 became a site of pilgrimage for internet sleuths, yet the Texas dirt kept its secrets. The break didn't come from a police investigation. It came from a private search team in February 2022. They were searching a patch of land on a private ranch about half a mile from where the truck was abandoned, an area that had been searched before, but the brush was so thick it was easily missed. They found a yellow shirt, camo shorts, and a pair of Nike shoes. Then they found human remains. The DNA testing took years due to the condition of the remains, but by 2024 the confirmation came back. It was Brandon. The most likely reality is the most tragic one. Brandon, disoriented by a combination of the dark, the argument, and potentially a relapse, ran into the brush to hide. In the Texas heat, without water, and likely suffering from an injury. Remember, he said he was bleeding. He succumbed to the elements. The brush in that part of the state is so dense that a body can be invisible from 5 feet away. The mystery of Brandon Lawson isn't about where he went anymore, but why he felt he had to run. Was there someone else in that field? Or was the 911 call the sound of a man losing his grip on reality? We may never know what he saw in the darkness of US 277, but after 9 years, Brandon Lawson finally went home. The search for Brandon Lawson is finally over, but the questions about what really happened in that field remain. Our deepest condolences go out to the Lawson family and his children. If you want to stay updated on more dark and unsolved mysteries, make sure to like this video and subscribe to ChatMystery. Thanks for watching.